Just 110 kilometers north of Paris, the roads of Picardy are lined with poppies. Long associated with World War I, the poppy has come to symbolize both the beauty of the land and the blood shed there. Nestled in this landscape are the legacy of the battles fought and the gallant humanitarian efforts that helped the French people rebuild their lives. The Château de Blérancourt is a living memorial and the site of a Franco-American museum devoted to over 300 years of art and history, exploring the ongoing interconnectedness of two world powers. During World War I, the Château de Blérancourt had been occupied by the Germans, and then, as early as 1917, it became the organizational headquarters of Anne Morgan, the daughter of the American banker John Pierpont Morgan. After a year aiding the wounded soldiers, Anne Morgan worked in the field to take care of the civilian population. After the war, she remained at Blérancourt, founding the American Committee for Devastated France. With over 350 women volunteers, they reconstructed villages, opened hospitals and clinics, restarted agriculture in a land decimated by war, provided educational programs, and traveled throughout Picardy to discover what people needed and then bring it to their homes. The Château de Blérancourt, with its distinctive pavilions, was built by Salomon de Brosse, the architect of the Palais de Luxembourg in Paris, between 1612 and 1624. During the French Revolution, the Château de Blérancourt was confiscated and sold to a demolition contractor who auctioned off its stones. By the time Anne Morgan acquired the chateau, it was a ruin. She rebuilt the two main pavilions, made one her home, and the other a museum reflecting the interaction of the two countries over time. In 1924, Anne Morgan, with the help of her colleague Anne Murray Dyke, created a memorial to celebrate the cooperation of the French-American efforts. In 1931, it became a French National Museum, and 7 years later, a new edition was inaugurated. Inside the museum are documents and art reflecting the American Field Service and the Lafayette Escadrille, which is known as Lafayette Squadron, as well as paintings of American artists living in France and by French artists intrigued by America. Also in the collection are numerous sculptures of Houdon and notably one of George Washington.
Welcome, I'm Mathilde Schneider, Museum Curator, in charge of the Franco-American Museum in Blérancourt in Picardy. We are here in the Anne Morgan's living room in her pavilion, restored thanks to the support of the French Friends of the Museum. Except for this pavilion, the museum is under renovation for 10 years, thanks to archaeological digs and also extensive works. The museum indeed owns 15,000 items, which include a huge photographs collection of Anne Morgan she commissioned during the American Committee for Devastated France. This museum is really unique in the world, as it's a bridge between two nations, and I think this is the only museum in the world to enhance not the history of only one country, but of both of them. And we are very involved and concerned in Blérancourt in the crossing views, the regard croisé.
After modest years of growth, the museum was aided by two organizations of friends, one French and the other American. In 1989, the Florence School Pavilion was opened with funds from the American Friends of Blérancourt and the Florence School Foundation. Today, it is undergoing its new expansion with extended galleries and new technologies to aid the visitors in their discovery of the art and historical artifacts. The newly designed museum by architect Yves Lyon will reopen in fall 2016. The Museum of Blérancourt is truly unique. The gardens surrounding the museum are planted with American trees and flowers, and the memorial garden is a profusion of red, white, and blue flowers. American landscape architects Mark Rudkin and Madison Cox, along with Frenchman Michel Boulcourt, created these unusual gardens.
I'm Mark Rudkin. Now, when I did the gardens at Blérancourt, the Museum of Blérancourt, I looked at what was growing there and what looked well. And I just planted things according to what was already there, you know. And it worked. Because you know, when you make a painting, you have to choose. Endless choices. It's not like a photograph where you have one snap and that's it. A painting is an infinity of decisions. And a garden is too. You just have to figure out what your place is going to look like and how do you get there and what should you choose and what should you not choose. And you decide as you go along. Lydie d'Anglejean is the Baroness d'Anglejean, who has been most helpful and most generous where Blérancourt is concerned. When she asked me to do a garden to help her out, because she wanted to do them, she invited me to do one, and she liked it and said, do another, and then do another. Well, how about another one yet, you know? So it went along year by year. It was not all planned in advance. And I had carte blanche.
With the centennial events of World War I, the surrounding villages are participating in local exhibitions known as In the Footsteps of Anne Morgan, showing the work of American volunteers after the Great War. In addition, the Picardy region is home to numerous World War I sites, including 10 American war memorials and cemeteries. On the grounds of the Franco-American Museum in Blérancourt is a small French auberge, l'Hostellerie Le Griffon, with an excellent restaurant. But more lodging and food can be found in Compiègne, just 20 miles away. American visitors interested in medieval villages and castles, history, art, the World Wars, and the American relations with France will find Picardy and the Franco-American Museum of Blérancourt a unique travel experience not to be missed.